Hi there everyone, take two for tonight. Welcome to this week's Facebook Live. I'm going to be sharing a simple card that I share how to make a really simple card. It's a simple design. I did share a photo of it earlier, I think over the weekend. So I'm going to share that one with you. Just before I get started, I want to share with you a new class that I've got starting. This is a brand new one. I've never done it before. It's called Your Stash, Your Style. And this is a weekly card class that you will do from the comfort of your home. You can either join me live or you can catch up on replay. The replays will be uploaded to YouTube. You will have a lifetime access to each of these weekly classes. So the way this class will work is you're going to use products from your stash. I'm going to give you a cutting guide each week so that you know what to prepare for the next class. So for this class, there'll be weekly Facebook Live. In a couple of months' time, when I start to get a few more people involved, I'll actually be looking at using Teams, and then people can actually get involved a bit more and we can chat while we craft. I just need this class to gain a little bit of momentum, which I'm hoping that'll happen fairly quickly. There'll be one project each week. There'll be tutorials and cutting guides. The tutorial will be live. There will be monthly giveaways. And you're also going to be using some of those products you already have. So all of those beautiful papers and your stamp sets and your embellishments you've got sitting there, this is the class to start using some of those. So this is starting in July. And I thought very quickly I would share with you the products that I'm using for the July class. If you have these products, you're more than welcome to join in and use the same ones, but just to give you an idea of what products I'm using. So this is the lovely arrangement, or part of the lovely arrangement suite. So we have some designer series papers that I'm using. I'm not using any of these ones. I don't think, maybe I am. I think I might be using some of these squares along the bottom edge. So really beautiful colours, some beautiful patterns. Let me flip it over and show you the reverse side. And again, the reverse side of these papers are really, really beautiful. So all 4 projects I'll be sharing, I will be using this designer series paper. The stamp set and dies that I'll be using are lovely arrangements. So I'm not introducing any other stamp set to this class for for the projects each week. I am using both of these for each project. Okay, so it will give you an idea, if you'd like to join me for the first month, that you'll need to choose a stamp set from your collection, something that has some floral images that you can colour, some leaves, and if it has coordinating dies, grab those out as well. You can use different colour mediums. I think when I've done the colouring, I have used Stampin' Blends. You can use whatever colour mediums you have at home. Okay, so, and of course this will work as well with the 2-step stamping stamp set. There is a cost involved in this class. It's going to be $30 a month. Keep in mind, for your $30, you get all of the resources. There's monthly giveaways, and you get to create each week. Okay, so Your Stash, Your Style. There is still time to register. In the comments, I'm going to share the link for all of the information and where you can register. Okay, so let's move on to tonight's card. I am going to be sharing with you a card that I made using Valley in Bloom designer series paper. This is a part of a whole suite. However, I have actually only gotten the designer series paper because it's really pretty to use. Let me just share this with you a little closer. So it's just here. So the papers are 12 by 12. There's 2 sheets each of 6 designs. You're looking at $23 for your paper. If you'd like to add on a sticker sheet, which is just here, it will cost you $31. So a few more dollars to get the add-on with the sticker sheets. Okay, let me share with you the paper. So it is paper that has got Lily in the Valley. So there are some more subtle patterns. Hello, Carol. Hi, Lynn. Thank you for joining me. Okay, and we've also got some that have the borders. So if you really enjoy some memory keeping, something like this, you could create a really beautiful scrapbook page. And of course, you can create amazing cards as well, which I'm going to share with you. So again, another one that's good for backgrounds. It's a little bit busy. So the sheet that I've got here, I've used the rest of it. This pattern goes all the way around the 12 by 12. I've used this a fair bit, so we've only got a little bit of it left. Okay, let me show you the reverse side of these papers. So really versatile patterns, some nice colour. That just looks like some blended ink, but it just gives a background a little bit more of a lift. Again, another versatile pattern. And there's also some ink colours in here too, which is always really quite nice. Okay. So, and finally, again, another really versatile check pattern. Okay, so these are Valley in Bloom Designer Series paper. The other things I'm using, I've got a Pretty Peacock ink pad. I've got Pretty Peacock blends, and I've also got this stamp set as well, one of the new ones, which is Sending Salutations. So beautiful font and some really great sentiments in there. Let me share with you the card. Oh, just one moment. I've got to get one more thing. I was going to share a card with you and actually did not have the kit here with me. It was over on the side. Okay, here's the card. There we go. I should have put that down first and grabbed the extra bits that I needed, because I put them just off out the side. Okay, so using some Designer Series paper, a small piece of white cardstock, we've got a white matte and Pretty Peacock base, and a piece of the Designer Series paper. So, of course, envelopes. And this was one of the cards that we made, or you could make during the catalogue launch event that I did. Okay, so what we've got here, half a sheet of Pretty Peacock, so that just creates the standard base. Have two pieces of white, which measure 10 centimetres by 14.4, which are my stock standard sort of mattes. And I've got a slightly different piece of the Designer Series paper. As I mentioned, I did cut all of these out of one piece, so they're all slightly different. So with this one, I might just reverse it and put my sentiment off to the side. Yeah, we'll see, because there's that little bit of blank space there. We'll have a look when the time comes. I have a piece or a tag of white cardstock, and this measures 2.5 centimetres by 8. I've got a couple of pieces of white baker's twine, because that's one of my favourite embellishments to use. And I've also got here too 5 iridescent pearls, another one of my favourites to use, because you can colour those in any colour you like using the Stampin' Blend. So you can see them just here and a couple down the bottom. Okay, let's get started. Super simple card to make, simple stamping. All you need to do is add your sentiment. So again, this is a design that you can do with any Designer Series paper. Pick a coordinating colour, and then you've got a nice simple card to do. So I'm going to start off with stamping my sentiment, which I have used on the card here, congratulations on your achievement. So I think I might use that one. Actually, I might use this one here. I'll just double check to make sure it fits. And this one says, I hope all things wonderful are headed your way. So that one will fit in there. So just to change up the sentiment a little bit. Okay, so onto my block. And as I mentioned, Pretty Peacock ink. Okay. So just giving it a real quick practice to make sure it's stamping okay. And there we go. And that just gets centered onto my little tag there. Hello, Martha. Thank you for joining us. I'm pleased that you're here. Okay, so I think I stamped that kind of sort of straight. I think my eyes are a little bit crooked today, but I'm actually kind of happy with that. Okay, so next we've got our piece of designer series paper. So this measures 9.5 centimeters by 13.9, which will mat really nicely onto that piece of white. So I do have the two pieces of the baker's twine. If your baker's twine has got any kinks in it or it's raveled up, just between your index finger and your thumbnail, just run that through a little bit of pressure and it straightens it out. So my small piece, let me give you the measurements, is about 18 centimeters. My longer piece is 25. So I'm going to use a little bit of sticky tape because I just find sticky tape doesn't leave a mess. But however, you could use, of course, some double-sided tape to do the exact same thing. Hi, Debbie. Thank you for watching. Glad you're here tonight. Okay. So, very simple. There is my baker's twine on there. So before I move on to the next bit, as I mentioned, this is a super quick card. We're going to be done in like 10 minutes. My piece of white that measures 10 centimeters by 14.4, I'm going to stick that flat onto my card base. I am using Stamp and Seal. However, use whatever adhesive you have on your craft table. Okay, so this one is going to be centered again. I'm really hoping that it's kind of sort of straight, which I think it is. It looks okay from here. And my piece of the designer series paper, I'm going to put on with some dimensionals. When I grab some, okay, I've got the minis, and I think everyone who watches regularly knows it. These are my favorite ones to use. Hi, Marita, I'm glad that you're here. Okay, so the mini dimensionals, I am also using, as I always do, the take your pick tool with the piercing tool on the end. And of course, these are interchangeable. I just find with the mini dimensionals, it's so much easier to use the piercing tool to pick them up. I'm also using the same tool to stab into the little papers on the back of the dimensionals, which is a nice quick way of getting them off, and they will all just kind of clump together. And it saves getting those on the floor and all through your house. Okay, so next piece goes on. Nice and simple. As I mentioned, super simple card. We're going to be done in 10 minutes. Next is my sentiment. I just need to decide which side I'm going to put it on. I think I might put it on that side, and then we get to see a little bit more of the paper down this side. Again, some dimensionals for this. And I'm not putting any in the middle, as in the middle down here. That is where the baker's twine is going to be sitting. So I don't want anything too big and bulky sitting underneath these dimensionals. It just helps the sentiment sit a bit flatter. Okay, so very quickly flick those little papers up, and there you can see they're all just attached to the end of the tool. Flick that off to the side. Okay. And very simple. You could leave that card like that if you wanted to. I'm going to definitely add my extra little pieces on as well. So with my second piece of baker's twine, you can either tie a bow and stick it on with a glue dot, but I find it just as easy to thread it underneath that first piece and then just tie your bow. And this is just tying a shoelace bow. Okay. So nice and simple. I am going to do a little bit of a trim up. So where I have used the baker's twine, you could use ribbon, you could use linen thread, you can use pretty much whatever you like as this part. I think my go-to is the baker's twine because I really love that it's so versatile and it goes with everything. But if you've got some really pretty white ribbon for this card, for example, or some pretty peacock, that would look really beautiful as well. Okay, finally the last two bits. Let me finish the inside first. Again, just a piece of white. So this way you can use whatever sort of pen to write a beautiful message to somebody. If you don't include a piece of white or an extra mat on the inside of your card, if it's a darker colour, you'll have to probably write with a white gel pen just so it stands out. Okay, let's do this last little bit. I have got my 5 iridescent pearls. Let me just show you on the darker piece what they look like. With the iridescent pearls, they have 2 different sizes, so there is also a slightly larger size as well. But I am going to be colouring these in with the dark Pretty Peacock Stampin' Blends. The reason I'm using this is an alcohol marker, and the alcohol in the ink dries really quickly, so you don't get the colour transfer. So this is a really, really nice option to use. There's 2 ends. Let me show you both ends. So there is a paintbrush end, which is really great for colouring large areas. And there's also the bullet end, which is a much harder end, which is what I used for colouring in all of the, if I'm colouring baker's twine or if I'm colouring embellishments, I use that harder end. Okay, so just going to go over these quickly, and I will probably go over them a second time just to get more depth in the colour. And as mentioned, they do dry nice and quickly. So I think with our Stampin' Blends, this just adds a little bit more versatility to what you can do. It's just all about what you can colour ahead of time. Okay, and that way my pearls match perfectly with the coloured cardstock. Okay, let's get these onto the card front and then we're done. So I am using the same tool, the Take Your Pick tool, and we have the putty end, which people who join me are probably familiar with this as well. And you just have to slide the embellishment on to the putty end and then position those exactly where you want them. Which is nice and simple, and you've finished your card really quickly. Now, as I mentioned, this is a really super simple card to put together. Change the colours, change the designer series paper, and you've got a complete new card. Change it up. You know, you can do die cuts on it and those sorts of things, but one of the things I really love sharing are quick and easy cards that you can reproduce yourself. So this is same card, ever so slightly different just with positioning, but it does create a really beautiful, simple card. Lynn, yeah, you could use the the strip of pearls in the ink pad. The only thing is you'd have to give them a pretty good amount of dry time because the ink is a water-based ink, whereas your markers are alcohol-based. So you would need to let them dry potentially overnight, and then you should, once they're dry, you'll be able to use them on your projects the exact same way. I think for me, I'm just impatient. I don't want to wait. Same with ribbons and your twine. You can also use your ink pads. Just remember to give it dry time. Once it's dry, go ahead and use it. If not quite dry, you're going to run the risk of transferring the colour from the ink onto your work. So yes, give it a try, but give it good dry time, being a water-based ink. And then once it's dry, you'll be able to go ahead and use it. So that, hopefully, I think that's answered your question. So I do have, if you watched last week, I did show you how to make this card. Next week, I'll announce the winner of the giveaway. So if you haven't had a chance to have a look at last week's Facebook Live, I do encourage you jump on, take a look at the replay. Again, a really simple card that you can make as well. Change up the colours, change up your designer series paper. Leave me a comment, and you'll go into the draw to win this card. So I'll announce that next week. And of course, this is a giveaway as well. I'll announce this one next week too. So yeah, so they'll be in the mail to you. Okay, so just my final reminder just before I say goodbye to everybody. Your Stash, Your Style, new card class coming in July. It will be a monthly class every Monday night for the first 4 weeks of the month. If there's a fifth Monday, we'll have a break that week. I'm going to put the link to all the information, so it will divert you to my blog, which has got all the information about this class. And it's one that I think, if you've got lots of product, you're going to love this class because it is using stuff from your own stash. So, and of course, any questions, please let me know for that. So that is all I've got. Thank you so much, Lynn, Carol, Marita, Debbie, and Martha. I can't think if there was anybody else that was watching because all the comments have scrolled up a little higher. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Again, I hope you've enjoyed seeing this class, and I'll share the link actually to last week's Facebook Live, and also the Your Stash, Your Style class too. So I'll share that in just a few minutes. Thanks again, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your night, and I'll be back next week.